Well, let's begin this hour with Skate Canada. It says it will stop holding national and international events in Alberta. The organization cites the province's new transgender laws as the reason. CBC's Meera Bains is on this story now, and this move coming from the nation's top governing body when it comes to figure skating. Take us through the details.
Yeah, Ian, this is a big development in the skating world today. As you mentioned, Skate Canada says they will not be holding national or international events in the province of Alberta. The organization did cite a provincial law that restricts transgender athletes from participating in female-only sports. The law has been controversial. It's dominated headlines. The Alberta government actually invoked the Charter's notwithstanding clause to protect a trio of laws affecting transgender youth from a legal challenge. Now, this decision from Skate Canada, though, comes after it says it assessed Alberta's Fairness and Safety in Sport Act. Basically, the law blocks transgender athletes from Alberta who are ages 12 and older from competing in female amateur sports. And let's take a look at that statement from Skate Canada. Basically, it says it considers a variety of criteria when it selects host locations for national events, and it has determined that Skate Canada is unable to host events in the province while maintaining its national standards for safety and inclusivity in sport. And this also comes after Skate Canada held an event in Calgary at the end of November.
Yeah, so did something happen there that led to this? Why the timing of this announcement? We had lots of questions for Skate Canada, requested an interview, but as far as we can tell, they're not doing interviews today. They certainly didn't accept our request for one. What about the province of Alberta? How is it reacting?
Well, it's responding right away. Premier Danielle Smith issued a response right away, and she called Skate Canada's refusal to hold events in her province, Alberta, due to this legislation as disgraceful. In her statement, she says women and girls have the right to play competitive sports in a safe and fair environment against biological females. So she specifically made that point. She also claimed that this view is held by other Canadians, held by the vast majority of Albertans. And she says that in the future, she actually expects an apology from Skate Canada and for Skate Canada to adjust their policies. And she went on to say that the International Olympic Committee is also moving in the same direction as Alberta. But this decision by Skate Canada does raise a lot of questions about Olympic competitions as well, since different sports governing bodies follow their own set of rules. We spoke to a sports management professor from the University of Ottawa, and who raises some interesting points. Take a listen.
Federation at the national level has to still follow what the International Federation will set and the International Olympic Committee if it's an Olympic sport. And so it's a fine line, a tight rope that Skate Canada has to walk in terms of what it will allow. And so I believe the regulations for transgender athletes for Skate Canada are within the Canadian competitions. It will have to follow still ISU rules for international competitions.
And she raises an interesting point, and I should mention that the IOC has set a target date of early 2026 to detail its new policy on eligibility in female sports.
All right, Meera, thank you. Well, our next guest agrees with the move. She feels it sets the tone that everyone has the right to skate. Kaitlyn Weaver is a Canadian Olympic figure skater. Why do you feel that this was the right move by Skate Canada?
Hi, Ian. Skate Canada has always committed itself to the mantra, skating is for everyone. And it's my belief that as a Canadian, skating is not a privilege, but a right. Skate Canada follows evidence-based data, and we just don't have that yet to prove otherwise. So it makes me proud to be a former representative of Skate Canada. It makes me proud to be a Canadian, and really believe that skating and the ice is a place that we all belong.
So the province of Alberta brought in a law that prevents transgender athletes who were born male but now are female, prevents them over the age, I think, of 12, of competing against women who were born women. They feel that it's unfair to allow those transgender athletes to compete against women. Do you disagree?
Personally, I speak for myself here. I do. I coach and choreograph numerous trans athletes, trans women. I coach alongside them as well. And I just could never find myself in a position to tell them that they don't belong there. Trans women are women, and skating is such a unique place to honor the originality, the athleticism, and the artistry of these athletes. I speak for figure skating and figure skating alone. That is what I know. And I think it's every federation's responsibility to look critically at their sport and decide. But in figure skating, we're judged on so many things that have equal protocol between genders. And so this is such a unique place where that can be true. And I believe that Skate Canada is doing the right thing here.
Yeah, you know, if I understand you correctly, that's a really interesting distinction. And so let me say this and tell me if I'm kind of going along the right path here, that there are certain sports where, you know, strength and power are so important. So let's say sprinting or weightlifting, that this issue of someone born male who becomes a transgender woman competing against people who are born female, that difference in strength might, you know, is one issue, but that is not an issue in the same way in figure skating. Would you agree with that?
I can't speak to many sports, and to be honest with you, and I don't have the data to support that across the wide range of athletics, but exactly in skating, it's not about who can jump the highest or who can even skate the fastest. It's such a unique blend of athleticism and artistry and musicality, connection between partners. Skate Canada was the first federation in the world to redefine team, to allow just two skaters to skate together of any gender. And now we see teams, we see kids that enjoy themselves so much on the ice. And I think that if you can see it, if you can see the joy in these kids' faces, it might make you think differently. I think that what we can do in Canada, and as a former representative of Skate Canada, I'm a two-time Olympian, you know, this is so close to my heart. I think what we can do is really connect the community, make it safe for these athletes, and keep our grass green and let the chips fall where they may with the other sports around the world, but to maintain our values and our morals as Canadians on and off the ice.
Yeah, we have less than a minute left, but you know what really strikes me hearing you speak is that in a world where so many people are worried and exercised and angry about transgender issues and transgender athletes, you speak of it in a way of like kind of welcoming and inclusivity. So maybe a final word to you for those who are more fearful and maybe angry on this issue.
It is scary and it is hard to approach something that we don't necessarily know well. A lot of people don't necessarily have these conversations daily, and it is scary and hard to not understand fully. But what I ask for on behalf of the skating community is a little bit of grace and a little bit of an open heart. The ice is a magical place. Let it be that for everyone, because Canadians have that right.
Canadian Olympic figure skater Kaitlyn Weaver in New York City. Thank you so much.